Every business, I mean, at its core, is a transactional, event of I, as a business, have something that I can offer as value. Client has a problem that my value solves, and they're going to give me money so that we can solve that problem. And in reality, the way a journey is going to work is if that's our center point, if we're starting at the closest to the money, what are all the steps and stages and things that have to happen that get someone to progress forward in my journey to become from a lead to become a prospect, from a prospect to being a client, of course, a client being a happy Raven fan. And so the biggest piece of that is the how well it can function as a machine, so that the thing that converts the most is going to be the experience.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
Today, we're going to talk about marketing, specifically the client journey experience. Your marketing probably doesn't work the way you want it to. Now, there may be exceptions out there. You may have more leads and opportunities, and they're qualified and they move through the system the way you want them to. But what I've experienced with my own business, what I see with my clients, is marketing is one of the areas where they struggle to have breakthroughs and really scale to the next level. So I thought I'd bring in someone that I respect. Jake Talbert is the managing partner at SixthDivision, and we talk about the client journey experience. We really go deep into this, probably not as deep as I wanted to go and as you might want to go, but this will be a kind of a high level look at the client journey experience so that you understand what it is, you understand kind of how it plays into the mix of things. What I was really fascinated about was I learned something today through this by just looking at it. Specifically, he talks at the very end about the difference between client journey, and the client experience. I had always kind of used those interchangeably, but the distinction is very clear if you keep listening to the full interview. So hopefully you enjoy today. If you want to improve your marketing, specifically your client journey experience, this is the episode for you. My name is Gene Hammett. I'm an executive coach. We also work with people within the organization to create leadership at all levels, because if just the high levels people, the executive team and the CEOs of the company are getting the leadership development they need, you won't have the company that you could have if you had everyone really pushing on the same goal together as a team and alignment together. So we actually help you solve that. Some of our clients actually want to talk about the cultural transformation as the companies grow and scale, because they're all fast growth companies that we typically work with. If you want to grow faster, or you're curious about what does it take to create predictable growth, then you want to email me to see how we can help you continue to do that. That is gene@genehammett.com. If you're really kind of on the fence of just interested in what we're doing here at Core Elevation and Grow Think Tank, we offer a virtual conversation. Every month we have a new topic, and that new topic might resonate with you. I don't know what the things you're doing. Some of the past topics have been about culture. We've talked about how to have tough conversations, which are our latest book that's coming out, or already out, if you will. We also have done experts on the show to talk about why business brokers are representing clients, what they're looking for, what are the missing elements. We've had private equity firms. To say in a short statement, if you're curious about what other CEOs are doing and other companies are doing that are in the fast growth mode, then come to the virtual conversations. Sign up at coreelevation.com and find the virtual conversations. And if they resonate with you, we'd love to have you join us, ask questions, participate, share your insights with us. That being said, now it's time for the interview with Jake. Hello, Jake.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Well, we're going to have an incredible conversation about the client journey experience and really what that means and how to optimize that. I know that's a lot to do in a short time, but you've been working as a managing partner of SixthDivision for a while. Tell us a little bit about what SixthDivision is up to.
So SixthDivision, we focus on the more servicey type businesses that are going to be out there, helping them to craft out, design out, and implement their automatic client journey, or we like to call it creating a happy client factory, so that the leads become prospects better, the prospects become clients better, the clients become happy raving fans. And we want that to just run like a machine. And so we map it, design it out so that it's very clear what the process is to all levels, from the decision maker all the way down to the technical implementer. And then when necessary, if they need us to fill the role of technical implementation, our coaches can do that for them as well. And so it's a lot of fun seeing the back end of tons of different businesses of all different sizes, and seeing that it actually doesn't matter if they're a $300,000-$400,000 a year annual revenue business, or if they're a 8-figure business. All the time the problems are the exact same, it's just at a different scale typically. And so it's fun seeing how a lot of those pieces work and just identifying how to position it right for that type of business at whatever level they're at in their journey.
I'm really, interested in what you have to say about this, but I want to ask you one question before we get to the heart of our conversation, which is, the trends that the AI is coming in big. What are the trends over the next 3 years I think are going to make the most impact on the work that you do for clients?
I think that people finding the way to harness AI to simplify tasks and simplify the process that they have so that they themselves and or their team can be more impactful. How do we get you to where you can spend more time on the things that matter, your clients, and less time on anything ticky-tack, anything that just becomes that mundane task? The ability to create custom GPTs or whatever it may be. I think that the trend as it goes that way is going to be how people harness it that saves them time, energy, and money, that frees up human capital. Of course, the tools that people use to create client journeys or that they implement into, it's clear that there are certain ones that are already more heavily into the AI world and ones that aren't quite there yet. And it's really interesting to see how they're starting to play with it from a big tool picture, as well as how individual businesses are creating their own unique workarounds using that AI. So for me, that trend is huge in taking the tasks off, because I think that the other trend most people are going to want is people want the human connection. As a consumer, they want a human connection. That's where I see it going, is that as a business, we relieve tasks with AI so that we can be present as humans, because the people who can make those connections, that's what the world is wanting right now. That's where it's really heading towards, is how do I make it feel more, it's not B2B, it's not B2C, it's how do I make it H to H? How do I make it human to human? And if I can relieve all these other tasks with AI, that allows me and my team to be more human to human with people.
Love that. We brought you here to talk about not just marketing, but this customer journey experience. Tell us, in layman's terms, I know you've already given us a little bit about what your guys are doing, but what is a customer journey experience?
So every business, at its core, is a transactional, event of, I as a business have something that I can offer as value. Client has a problem that my value solves, and they're going to give me money so that we can solve that problem. And in reality, the way a journey is going to work is, if that's our center point, if we're starting at the closest to the money, what are all the steps and stages and things that have to happen that get someone to progress forward in my journey to become from a lead to become a prospect, from a prospect to being a client, of course, a client being a happy raving fan. And so the biggest piece of that is the how well it can function as a machine, so that the thing that converts the most is going to be the experience. And so if I can make the machine run that people are getting the same thing every single time, I can focus more heavily on the experience, which that is what will lead to the conversion. And so that's why we refer to it as a happy client factory. So we want it to be running in that sort of a way. And the way that they're going to be happy is creating great experiences from the moment they hit your page to them going through the whole process and them going through your service or receiving the product or whatever it may be. That experience is what's going to change how they see and perceive you moving forward.
I've known of SixthDivision for at least 6 to 8 years because we've run in some of the same circles. And I've known you for a while too, Jake, but I can tell that you guys are sharp with what you do, because the happy client factory resonates with me deeply, because we want to create these experiences that are not just transactional, but truly happy clients. All right. So you've given us in layman's terms. Before we dive into how do you do it, what are some of the biggest mistakes or mindset shifts that are necessary for us to understand before we would be ready for something like this?
I think that There's a couple that come to mind. And one of the very first ones is a principle that is true amongst all the businesses we work with. And it's getting clear that it starts with organizing your thinking. If you've not organized the way you think and you look at your client journey, from a big picture all the way down to like, all right, in my sales play at the stage where they book a call, we're going to be doing these specific steps. Like if you can't organize the way that you think about it, you're taking shots, shots in the dark. You're throwing spaghetti against the wall. And I think the biggest mistake is that people want to dive into, well, let's go create the email, the page, the thing that's going to revolutionize or change what we're working on. And it's like, but why? How does it play into the bigger picture of your whole journey? How does it play into the other stages that they're going to go through in that particular part of the journey? How does it play into what they're going to go to next? And so when you can organize the thinking first, that frees up so much more energy, allows you to be more creative with what you're going to go and do. And then from there, a lot of people will start to work heavy on trying to get to what I always refer to, you have to organize something so that you can then optimize it, so then you can create a really custom, awesome journey. And most people want to go from idea to customized journey. It's like, no, get it organized and live. Build a foundational piece where there's no holes in the process. It's great experience. You have reporting into it. It's easy for you and your team to do. If that's true, you've now earned the right to optimize that part of the process. But I know plenty of 7 and 8 figure businesses that never cross past optimized into creating a really custom process. They just get really, really good at doing the organize and finding the places to optimize where they can. And so the mistakes are that they try to go to version 10. And so we always say, hey, version 1 outdoes version none. If you wait till version 10, you're gonna come up with another idea. There's gonna be a new initiative. There's gonna be a new thing that you lose track of what you're working on to get to version 10 that you're trying to start. Like, no, just let's prove that it works. Let's earn the right to move on to the next part of that process.
Now, Jake just said something interesting. Version 1 is better than version none. What that means to me is that a lot of people put so much emphasis on getting it fancy, getting it customized, getting it personalized, when they take so much time to do that and it never gets done. So what he's asking you to do is think about, what's the foundational element? How do we prove the concept, and how do we get things moving? Maybe slow at first, but that will allow us to build on and really create something meaningful and profound. And marketing is really important. Back to Jake. Love it, Jake. Where would you start with a client on getting their organization of their information and their client journey?
We start with a tool which refer to as the client journey playbook. And it is one of the most simple tools out there, where it essentially just has columns of attention, lead, prospect, and client. And we say, hey, let's start by drawing boxes that represent the processes in your business. And as simple of a process as it is, when we walk people through it, there are so many times where they go, oh my gosh, it's so simple, because they're overthinking and overcomplicating their business, that when they just see it in simple squares that are moving from one to the next, it makes it that they can see all the moving parts without having to dive, because they're so down in the weeds typically on one particular area that they're thinking about. And then most people, if you ask them, cool, what do you do? They tell you whatever they do in some sort of philosophical who they serve or whatever. It's like, cool, I didn't ask you that. I asked you, what can I buy from you? Actually, that's what I care about.
Yeah.
And then I say, well, how do people get to you to do that? And usually then people start talking about, well, we're running these ads that do these things. Like, hold on, what can I buy from you? How do I buy it? Is there a person-to-person interaction? Is it an online sign up? Is it a webinar? Is it whatever it may be? And we start working our way backwards from, okay, if these are the things I can buy from you, then how do I buy it? And then how do I fill that thing? And it prevents, like I said, when you just leave it open to people, they're going to dive to, well, we run ads in this way, and then but this page is different because that page, and you're like, whoa, we're too far in the weeds. I don't care about that. I just want to know what I can buy from you. How do I buy it? And how do I fill that thing? And just drawing that out gives people so much aha clarity, where it's like, yeah, you want to know where the problem is? It's right there. We can see it from this view. Knowing that we're going to each one of those little squares that represents a process, we will go and unpack that and blueprint it out, do an experience design for it. But just that one simple tool gives people so much clarity that it helps them actually see where problems are. So they start focusing on the right area, not off what they think coming into it that they should be focused on.
I love this, and I know that there's some opportunities for my own business to there's some gaps, some holes, because what you're talking about, I don't have.
Mm.
I really do pride myself in being a coach and really helping the people that we work with. And I'm not that good at generating leads. I'm just going to say that to everyone here. Like, if you're listening in and you have never signed up for something, even though I probably ask you quite a bit to sign up for different things if you're listening to this as a regular listener. Jake, we're talking here about the client journey experience. When you've got it right, like, what does good look like in your world of the client journey experience?
Good looks like I can ask whomever, maybe a business owner, a CEO, whomever is at the top, and I can say, what do your clients' experience and journey look like? And can you show it to me? Because more often than not, they have no idea. It's not documented in a way that they can find it. It's not organized in a way that they can find it. They may not have access to the Dropbox, Google Drive, internal server that has that in it because one department holds access to it or whatever it may be. When I sit in front of CEOs and those that have already gotten past the 7-figure mark and they're either fast approaching 8 figures or they've moved past 8 figures in revenue, when you ask them, they're like, cool, well, what's that journey like? And they're like, cool, can you show me? And it is rare that you will ever have one of them say, oh yeah, it's this, which some people at that level may go, yeah, but that's not my job to know that. No, it may not be, but there should still be a system and a process in place that if you needed to, you could go whatever number of clicks, 2, 3, 4, 5 clicks deep, and you could go see, like, gosh, someone told me about this survey thing that we're doing that's doing really well. What is that? Click, click, click. Oh, I can see it. I can see it plain as day. If I want to go look at the assets, the page, the thing. And so it starts by that organization. And then the other piece is how well, as people move through, do they just feel like you've almost partnered with them? From the moment they enter your world, they're a lead, then you're waiting for them to raise their hand and say, hey, I want to be a prospect. I want to talk to you. I want to, whatever that sales process may be. As they then buy, as they like, if the person feels like you're whoever the face of organization is, or whoever their primary contact is, if they start feeling like that's their go-to, that's their best friend, that's the win. It's like, is it organized cleanly? And does the person feel like you are on the journey together? And if those two things are true, you're winning.
Jake's been talking about the client experience, and this whole episode, frankly, is about the client journey experience. And one thing I was going to add to this is, have you taken time with your team to think about how you want that person to feel as they engage with your brand? How do you want them to experience it? And another way to say that is, are you being intentional about the steps they take, the emails they get? I know you're sending these things out because we do this too, but are you doing it to the highest level? Only you can answer that, and only you know if you're kind of taking shortcuts and maybe what you haven't really optimized that to the next level. Because I know what happens, a lot of people think it's done and they move on to the next thing. Well, marketing is changing a lot, and you want to make sure you're staying in tune with that as you move forward. Back to Jake. Marketing is a really big topic.
Yep.
I'm wondering where you draw the lines on where you start working with a client or not, because I don't think you guys work that much on traffic. I could be wrong. Getting eyeballs and getting attention. What I have positioned you guys, and again, you correct me where I'm wrong, is all the pieces once you have attention to get them to move through the gauntlet of emails and automation to a real customized experience where someone gets on the phone and they're ready as they could be to buy. Is that clear? What I say?
Yeah, we're going to be everything from, we will coach people to ads, like, hey, here's what it should sound like, here's what it should be. But there are people who live their lives in Meta and Google ads and that world. More power to them. I don't want to be in that world. So we'll tell people what they should be, but in reality, our services, what we specialize in is like, cool, you got them to your front door, whatever that may be, an opt-in, a sales call, a whatever, request of info, a demo request. You got them to the front door, and we're going to help them get through the front door better. And then once they're now in your house, we're going to show them around, make sure they see everything. And so from that moment, they enter your world as a lead. And most people, when they hear the tools we work with, they think marketing automation. And the problem with that is there's two problems with marketing automation, and it's the word marketing and automation. Number one, shouldn't be all automation. It should be more looked at as automatic. How do I make things just run like clockwork? And where necessary, I can use automation. And then marketing. Well, these tools or these things can be used in your sales process, in your client delivery process, in your hiring and onboarding, employees processes. You can use them through the whole business. Most people, when they look at their tools, their HubSpots, their Salesforce Pardots, their, Keep, Active Campaign, High Level, whatever tool that may come out, because there's new ones that come out every week, whatever tool they use, more often than not, they get locked into, oh, this is for my marketing, or this is for my sales. And it's like, well, yeah, you're using about 10% of what that thing can do. So you're throwing away 90% of what the tool could do. So just go start burning money if you want, because that's what you're doing. If you want to look at it from the full picture. So we want to focus the moment they enter your world all the way through being happy raving fans, and build that in so that they're maximizing the whole journey, because it should all talk to each other, and that they can get maximum use out of the tools and resources they have at their disposal.
Jake, we've had a great conversation on the client experience journey, or the client journey experience. And I'm wondering if we've left anything out that you would like to dispel myths or share with our audience today about what the client experience is all about.
I think the biggest, the only one that I can think of that would really be left is there's the journey and then there's the experience, and they're two separate things. Experience is not the steps you're going to take someone through. When you talk to people about what's the experience someone goes through, they're going to tell you about, they opt in, they go through this thing, and then they'll see that thing. It's like, that's not the experience. Like, that's a lever, that's a part of the process. But what's more important is, how do you want them to think and feel at every one of those steps in the process? And the way we impact that is to say, well, how often are we doing the steps? How often are we doing touch points, whether it be emails, text messages, updating their ad audiences, or whatever the thing may be? It's the words you're saying, and that you're saying it to the right audience, to the right people. And so there's so much more than just the tech and tools. I tell everyone, when we hire coaches here, I would rather hire people who understand leadership, how to control conversations, and how to create great experiences. And the last thing we actually test is their technical acumen, even though most of what we do is grounded in these tools we talked about, because I can teach anyone how to do the tools. I can teach anyone how to use any one of those tools we mentioned. Getting someone to be able to think from that really creative mind frame of, how do I want them to think and feel from this step to that step? And that could be from an opt-in to getting them to book a call. That could be from email 1 to email 2. It could be from the moment they hit your page through, them actually signing up. There's so many things that could come into play, that the words we're going to say, how we say them to that audience, is going to impact that experience. And so allowing yourself the freedom, like I said, when you organize your thinking and how you're going to approach it and how you build it, it allows you to use those creative skills that you have left to actually create an amazing experience. It frees up time that you can spend more time on the experience, because you're not caught up in the technical and the confusion or the overwhelm that comes from the tech and the tools that people utilize for marketing and sale and delivery processes.
Jake, so insightful. I'm just kind of curious, if someone's listening to this, they want to know more information, maybe what the next step is, what would you say?
They can go to SixthDivision.com and check out the different ways we work. If they want to click on the who we've helped tab, they're going to see hundreds and hundreds of testimonials, more than they could probably ever watch, and they're broken up by industry so that people can see some of the different type of stories and things that help them get ideas of what maybe they could be doing, from real people who we've worked with, and from there, anything that comes in. Since I, as managing partner, I run all front end processes, of course. And so should there ever be anything that they fill out or request, they can always just say, hey, I was listening to Gene's podcast, and I'll recognize that and know that that's where they've come from, so we can hopefully continue the conversation or be able to identify where we go from there with them.
And I'll say very clearly, You haven't paid to be here. I have not received any money from you guys. This is just out of my genuine heart, because I know that a lot of companies and CEOs struggle with the marketing side and like finding the right agency and whatnot. And I think you guys are head and shoulders above others. I'm curious about how you can actually help us. So thank you for being here, Jake, and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, what a great interview. I really enjoyed learning a little bit more about marketing that I didn't know before, and the distinctions he made, really powerful, specifically the one about the client experience and the client journey. I've always used that interchangeably and thought they were the same, but they're just not. So hopefully you got a lot out of today's episode. When you think of growth and you think of leadership, think of Growth Think Tank. As always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.